Welcome. I heard a lot of news lately about the EOS RP. Here I am in London, by the way. I heard that the EOS RP was pretty much the specs were announced, which we all expected it to come out soon, but now that the specs are announced, it's like reactions. Some positive, some negative. A couple of big talking points is that it does 4K, but with no dual pixel autofocus, again, just like the EOS M50. And then it also doesn't do 24p in 1080. And that's pretty mysterious. My personal opinion on that is there's no reason why the camera can't do it other than the fact that Canon wants to separate the market and say, okay, introduce you to this first entry-level full-frame camera. Oh, if you want 60 or 24p, upgrade to a more cinematic camera. And then you go to the EOS-R. It's just wrong. I mean, you can get cheaper cameras like the EOS M50 that do 24 frames per second and are small and perfect for YouTube with a flip screen. So it's like, what are you trying to do besides trick your customer base? Which is sad. So I thought of a workaround. You want 24p, and 24p is film standard and it's what everybody uses nowadays. But in the European market, the frame rates are different because the frequency is different. So it's appropriate that I'm here in London. When you think of the frames per second for the PAL version of this EOS RP, it does 25p and 50p. 25p is pretty close to 24p. If you're looking for that cinematic look and you do get this camera, switch it to PAL. Once you do that, you won't get perfect 24p, but 25 is a bit closer. It's not perfect, but it's a workaround. Right now I'm filming in 24p, but let me do a quick 25p version of this recording and see if you can tell the difference. Coming right up. And here we go. 25p versus 24p. Now, I've got the shutter still set at 1/50th, so I didn't want to change that because it's so close. It's the same shutter speed, and it should look pretty much the same. If you think this looks okay, and I'm moving and whatever, but if you think this looks okay, the EOS RP can do this frame rate, 25p, just set it to PAL mode, just like I did. And you'd have the ability to do that. It's disappointing that Canon would put that limitation on their cameras. It's like, why would you want to, not only, it's not just the fact that they limited it, but then anger your customer base, especially those looking to grow and move over. Most people will look up what cameras can do online now. They'll either look at YouTube videos for reviews to see what camera's the best, or articles. When they look up the EOS RP, there's a few good ones, of course. Obviously, it's difficult to review the camera this soon, but then you have all of those articles, especially for the video perspective, are going to say, this camera has issues. Why would you want to do that? Doesn't make any sense to me. But I do believe that with the workaround, and then hopefully Canon can do a firmware update to say, oops, just kidding guys, we'll throw in 24p at the very least, is something that they should do. Let's switch it back up to 24p. And again, let's see if you notice the difference. Here we go. And here we are. Back to 24p, no difference. At least I don't notice. And if I do notice, it'll be when I'm editing and I find out this frame rate still looks jittery or something bad. I don't know. I'm trying to help Canon here with this little workaround that you could possibly do with the camera. What also doesn't make sense is that you can't do 120 in HD at the very least, 720p. I don't know, Canon. You price this camera at same price as a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K that does 4K RAW 60, 120 frames at 1080, no cropped, and comes with software to be able to edit on. And you just come with a camera, charge that much, take away all these features and expect, hey, to grow a customer base that way. No, doesn't make any sense. And then the other thing I noticed, last thing about this camera that's just like, why? Is that when you connect an EF-S lens, you can record in 4K, because 4K is cropped at like 1.56 times on that camera, or HD, but not full HD when you hook up a EF-S lens. I know it crops censored mode, but why would you limit the ability to do full HD on this camera? No sense whatsoever. I don't get it. Like, why? Another mystery that I won't understand. Now, the ability to hook up EF-S lenses is good, because when you record 4K and you want the ultra-wide shots, ultra-wide lenses are a lot easier to get on a crop sensor, on the APS-C size sensor, without spending a ton of money, because they're designing it for a smaller sensor, which would be less glass required, which means less expensive lenses, and you can work with it. I use a Tokina, not a Canon, because Canon doesn't sell EF lenses for crop sensors, which doesn't make sense, but that's all I have to say. Anyway, I'm at a restaurant, I'm gonna finish my breakfast, but let me know what you guys think on the EOS RP, and if the workaround's good enough for you. I think the price point is pretty good. So with a price point of that camera, it's for full frame, entry-level full frame, that's not bad at all. You could get similar features in cameras that are a couple of years old for a similar price, used. But flip screen, full frame sensor, recording, switch it to PAL, you should be okay, at least with that film style. Hold on for a second. Now, I said I would come back to speak about, after reviewing the footage, what I thought about it. And I could tell you right now that after reviewing it in the restaurant, where you saw me speaking in 25 frames and 24 frames, I thought it was fine. You couldn't see any default or difference in 25p when compared to 24p. But I did further testing because I knew there had to be something up. And when I did kind of a pan shot of curtains that I had, I noticed that in 25p, when using a monitor that's 60 Hertz, you'll notice after a few frames it'll kind of jump back and forth. I should be showing it right now. And that jump is the fault of the frame rate not being in sync with the refresh rate of your monitor. If you have a 50p monitor, then you won't see it. You might see it in the 24p footage, but not in the 25, and vice versa if you're using an NTSC monitor. So that you can't escape from, and I could understand why people would be angry with that. But all in all, depending on your type of shot, and if it's a still shot, then you're probably not going to have that much of an issue. So I still think it's a great affordable camera. You can get around the frame rate issues. If you're moving and you're panning or doing something, then maybe you might want to shoot it at 60 frames per second anyway and get some of that slow-mo rolling. And if you're standing still, 30 or 25, and just keep it still. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Like, share, and you can make my day if you subscribe today. This is Magnus, and I'm out. See you guys later.